guys, this is Popping Out. Of course, you know Bias by now. We're the brothers, Matthew.
Eli.
And next to us, we have another brother here. Actually, I'm really excited because if you were following us, we spoke to my brother, Red Ryan. I'm rocking his shirt here. You know, he actually collects the figures, the comics. I was a fan of his, but I never knew he'll be sitting next to me, so I'm kind of excited. And without further ado, here's the man himself. Rios, introduce yourself if you don't mind.
How you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thanks. It's a pleasure. My name is Rios Palante. I am a toy designer, illustrator, graphic designer, and just an art person altogether.
Nice. So you have this line. I'm going to show it up. And in the video, I'll be putting drop boxes and everything else. As you can see here, it's FuStamps. It's F-U, not F-O-O-D. Either way, they're both good. No hating on either one. But tell us how you got here and a little about yourself in the past. What got you to FuStamps?
Sure. I've been doing the art since I was a little kid, about 3 years old. I was at drawing murals for Batman, Superman, and all types of different characters that I grew up with in my mother's living room closet. And it was a coat closet, and one day she moves the coats out the way and realizes that I've developed this big mural of superheroes.
That's awesome.
And she wanted to whack me, but at the same time she's kind of like, oh, this is kind of a thing, you know?
That's awesome.
And she just kind of nurtured that, and she would draw for me, and I just learned how to draw for a while. And I used to actually collect chocolate milk in kindergarten for these drawings, which describe, you know, this is why it is what it is.
It's kind of funny. It's like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
we
those
used to trade
things.
for chocolate milk too.
Yeah, you try to find, you know, these currencies and just try to, you know.
See, I had to pity chocolate milk too. Like people look at me and be like, "Oh, this poor
kid wants it."
Me and my bad wisp when I used to speak, they used to be like, "Here you go, you give me the chocolate milk."
Yeah,
So
you can
I
tell.
know the currency.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like you can tell someone's power by what they have in their plate. You know, if you got the 3 milks, then you're like the man. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've experienced that. Growing up, I grew up in the South Bronx. I did graffiti for a while. I you know, did a little vandalizing, but
It's
it was
art
all
now,
for the
so we're
art.
good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
You get paid for that now.
absolutely. So then I continued that. I went to school. I went to Fashion Institute of Technology, where I got my degree for illustration, and then I did some graphic design for a few years. Came back about 10 years later, actually, with so we were expecting my 3rd child, Roman, and we would like develop these plush animals. And I said, man, this is really cool. I wish I could make some money doing this. And I remembered that FIT did provide a toy design degree. So I applied. I went in with my child in my hand. I was like, I swear he won't get in the way, you know. And I was accepted. And after that, I started working for Fisher Price. I was working at Fisher Price, and then I did some freelance stuff for Hasbro and Mattel. And my last stunt was in Toys R Us. So at Toys R Us, I moved up the ranks a little. I became a development manager, where I was able to fly overseas and check out the processes and manufacturing methods to developing toys. And as we all know, Toys R Us fell under, and I was left without a job. But I kept the contacts, and I tried to, you know, I said, you know, this is a great opportunity. I could either like go back into the office environment, or I can just like try to do my own thing. So I always felt like I had so many stories to tell. So what I did is I took a stab at it, and I developed a toy, and I started writing these stories, which was FuStamps. So the story behind FuStamps, it's some kids from the neighborhood, from the inner city, from the hood, that protect their neighborhood bodega against rival gangs that are trying to come in and change the neighborhood. So they're like heroes. The thing with this is I wanted the heroes to resemble people that I grew up with, people like me, people who look like me, talk like me. I wanted it to feel authentic, you know, and I want to kind of put a different spin on the spandex and cape superhero, and just have people look up to these kids and say, you know what, I see myself in that, I can do that. So the kids wind up, they have a love for martial arts and they defend their neighborhood, but all they have is the love for martial arts, so they wind up getting their ass kicked all over the place until they meet who they think
Such is life, right?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. They just think this guy's a vagabond, and he winds up being a kung fu master, and he teaches about discipline, and they do their homework down at the bodega. They train, they do everything to become the team that they're destined to be, and they wind up saving the neighborhood.
That's awesome. I got so I'm a big Origins guy, and he was saying, because I actually, believe it or not, our story's kind of the same. I'm the oldest, you know. So
The baby.
your mother was a huge influence on your art, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little about your mom.
So it actually was my mom and my father biologically. I lost my father when I was not even
sorry
one.
to hear that.
Yeah, he was murdered in the street.
Jeez.
Just a kid, but my mother held things down throughout all those years.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did. She nurtured that. She helped develop that by exposing me to, you know, animation, to another world where it was
That's awesome.
different from what I saw outside of my window. You know, which was chaotic. You know, in the 80s in the South Bronx, the buildings are burning, the people are breaking into your apartment, selling, you know, selling drugs is an actual option. That's something that actually enters everybody's head. You know, so it's like everyone's doing it. You know, it just seems so normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mother was, what she did was she led by example, and she went back to school herself, actually.
Oh, wow.
She went to school, she got a degree. Yeah, so it was not
Shut
like
up,
she
Mom.
was telling me what to do, she was showing me what to
Showing
do,
me, yes.
you know. And not subconsciously, but I guess I just soaked that stuff in, and I knew I had an ability, you know, to draw a picture.
Yeah.
I just wanted to nurture that too and become a little more professional, but at
Yeah.
the same time, being successful at it is kind of like a baseball player, football player too. Where it's a long shot sometimes.
Of course, yeah.
But as long as I can do some, you know, provide something positive, I think I'd be straight. As long as I could put money in my kids' mouths and make a living, I'd be all right.
The hero too. He's a father of 4.
Yeah, 4 kids, two in their 20s and 2. What would you call it? Adolescents?
Yeah.
2 crazy
Tweens.
ones and 2 calm ones. Yeah. So yeah, Roman, happy. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Roman. And
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday, Roman.
Yeah, their birthdays on the 7th and the 9th.
God
Oh,
bless.
that's awesome.
So we do it on the 8th, you know, in the middle. So they won't-
see, it's funny because I'm the 29th, December 29th, but Elias over here is Christmas. So we used to celebrate on Christmas. So for the longest time, I thought my birthday was December 28th because no one celebrated my birthday on my birthday.
Right.
And then one day, I was probably maybe 4th grade or something. I'm like, oh damn, man! I'm like, it's the 29th, you know. So it's funny when you make sure you let them know what birthday it is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're gonna be like me,
They'll
but I'm
start
kind of
writing
slow,
the
so
eighth.
it is what it is. You know? We fought a lot as kids. I got hit in the head one too many times. But you know, it's funny how you have that origin that you read in books. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
You have the troubles and tribulations of, you know, living in that life without having to be a gun runner. You're just a victim of circumstance. But it shows where you are now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people put in these youngins' heads, and like he sees and I see it dealing with the youth, is you're in this environment,
You're stuck.
you have to be a part of this environment. Not in a good way.
Right.
You take the easy way out,
Mhm.
you know, and look at you now, man. Like, shit, I mean, we grew up, not, like I said, nothing compared to what you went through. I mean, but we had the regular struggles of, you know, eating, like, the foods that were one of my favorites, and I say that with hostility, was the mayonnaise and 2 pieces of bread. I was
Oh, they living it up.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Ketchup
It's,
sandwiches.
yeah. So I hate mayonnaise now. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Me
But you
neither.
know what I mean? But we had a house. I would tell everyone, but we had a house.
Yeah.
You know, our dad was there to show us
He
how to
worked.
work, and our mom was show us how to love.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
like it was those 2 things, and they're both around God's
Thank
grace.
God, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, we
but
take care of them.
yeah,
You
well,
guys are blessed.
You know?
You guys are blessed. You have
Amen.
2 parents, you know, and those things you've dealt with in the past
Yeah.
build your strength. You know, they make you harder.
It's funny. My mom was the one that taught me how to kind of push a pencil around at 5.
Oh, you too, yeah.
Yeah. She maybe didn't, you know. She just kind of showed me that I could draw. And a crazy miracle weird thing. My dad doesn't draw at all.
Right.
He does. You remember The Saint, the old TV show?
Yes.
It was like this stick figure with a halo, doing that. So my dad only drew that. That's all he could do. One day I was 5 years old. He drew on a little Debbie cake thing, like a bunch of Sesame Street characters. And it looked clear.
Right.
Like, me and my mom remember it to this day. I wish I still had it. He never drew another day in his life. So I think it was like God saying, this is what you're going to be doing, right? Do my dad, you know? And my mom actually nourished that. And then when I got older, he got older, so I tried to nourish my brothers as well. He's an artist too, and he's better than me, but
Awesome.
I told him. So
better.
it's amazing how the act of one person, especially like the moms, shout out to moms out there, single moms.
Mama.
So like the act of our moms putting it out there and helping us to keep going, it's a blessing. It really is.
Absolutely. There's these people that are like angels in your world, that you cling on to. I remember. I always say it. Edgar Rivera, he passed on from AIDS actually during the whole epidemic. It was nuts.
Yeah.
But he was always there. Like when I was in trouble, he didn't really help me get out of the trouble. He was just there to like support and say, "Come on, do you really think that's right?" And
what was the trouble you got yourself into?
I did get into some trouble, and he never judged though. He was always like, do you think this? And he always presented options to me.
Yes.
So it's the stuff we're talking about.
Yes.
A lot of the kids from the hood think that it's either, play ball, try to make it, hustle, or, do something else that's not so, kosher for that food or that money.
Yeah.
But they don't know that you can be a game developer, a comic book artist,
so many options.
a toy designer, a graphic designer. There's so many things we can do, and if you just get that little education to just kind of just see what the possibilities are, I think it'll help a lot of our kids.
My heart breaks always for kids that didn't have or don't have a support system anyway. No mother, no father that cares enough, no big brother, no big sister. Sometimes they have mentors. I believe God always puts somebody in your life to help you.
Absolutely.
But because they hear all this negativity, you can't. Drawing is nothing. You can't make money off that. It's not even about making money. I realize now in my old age that if you're doing something you love, it's like doors open up.
Yeah.
Right? Doors. I'm sure you can say it too. Doors open up as long as you have the mindset to keep going.
Right.
Right? But a lot of these kids give up. And being a teacher, I've taught Hoboken, Jersey City, all different parts of Jersey. The public schools were the most heartbreaking, but you know what? I love all you kids. But the public schools, when they first came in, and most of these kids didn't have like homes like we did, or even close, they didn't believe in themselves. By the end of the class, I said, listen, you can do it.
Right.
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let the world tell you otherwise. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. You know deep in your heart what you should be doing.
Right.
And what you shouldn't be
right.
doing, right? So to all those kids out there, don't give up. Keep moving forward. Got my man here doing stuff. My brother here. We're doing stuff. At the end of the day, don't give up.
And we're old and we're still trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel
he's
it.
because he's right there at the door. He's knocking on heaven's gate. You know what I mean? He's almost there. Me and Liz, we're still in the bottom feeders. But we'll make our way up. Evolution. You know what I mean?
Well, you're looking at you're seeing people here that have been through the fire, right? That have gone through it and came out okay because you just stick to it.
Yep.
It's difficult when you learn a game or you learn a program or you learn something from class. It's always difficult at first, but if you keep on, you'll be okay.
Always be hungry and humble, right? It's teachable.
Hungry and humble.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I always say, my name is Matt, but I'm not a footman. So you gotta know your boundaries. You know what I mean?
Right.
Two T's, not one. But when it comes to growing up and stuff, and I was lucky because I always had my oldest brother, and we bumped our heads when we were younger. But we always had somebody. That's why when we do our programs, like when I do my stuff for Jersey City for the youth programs, and that's what the police department symbols for. But I always try to teach them we all come from different backgrounds, but it's what you make of. And there was one officer who went through a horrific event, and he reached out to me, and I told him, use this to teach others.
Right.
And I mean, I don't want to put it out there, so I'm not going to say, but it's probably the worst case scenario you could imagine. And he was like, but this is going to keep me from becoming a cop. But we sat down, we talked about it, and now he's a police officer. But he thought just because that one part of his life, which he had nothing to do with, that I can't do it. And he did. He's on the job now. Like I said, don't let anything in your life dictate where you are.
No.
If you want it, go for it,
You're not
man.
stuck.
you know, because. But, and I told him, when you speak to because we have like a psychological test, how I passed, I have no idea. They said,
too.
You know,
They lost mine.
But I told him, I said, but when they ask about it, because they have to. I said, use that as a learning tool, because you're going to meet people who maybe not fall into the same pattern as what happened to you, but in the same parameters, and you can use your experience to better guide them. Right. You know what I mean? And you're doing the same with your art. You know, so what we're doing here, what we do is like, and I'm mad, the Snyder Cut, my favorite line of that movie is
Save
when
just one.
Batman was talking to Flash. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
So if you saw the original, when they first meet Steppenwolf, like when he has all the people like in prison and he's trying to figure out where the mother box is, Flash is like nervous and he goes up to Batman. He's like, I don't know what to do. And Batman pretty much stops him. And he's like, listen, all you gotta do is save one.
Just one.
Right.
And then everything else will come.
That's right.
And like I said,
it kind of sucks to get rid of that.
You know, I've been in, like I said, legit with you in the past, bullets flying by me, and there was a brand new guy running into the fire. I had to stop him. I'm like, yo, this is not how you do it. Like, I know you want to help, but even just controlling scene safety is something you can do. And I feel like that was the most human moment. Everyone's God's there, pretty much. Superman, besides Batman. But it showed the humanity in Flash, you know, and Batman's pretty much brought him down to a level that if you all been there, we all helped someone in your life. It's all it takes is that one. Do it once. Everything else will fall in the past. You know? So now it's like the only thing, I'm like, the movie's great. But I always have that little bit of like, you know, I guess emotional side connected to the original cut because of that saying, you know what I mean? And that's a silly movie. So, you know, let it be when kids are reading your books, and which we're going to dive into, I'm just doing my background segue to get back to the comics, is that you might have a message in there, or you do have a message, not multiple, that's going to ping with one of these kids, and he's going to light that torch, kind of like how Elias helped me light my passion, and it's like a wildfire of faith, you know what I mean? It doesn't hurt you, but it gets you like, oh man, he knows where I'm coming from. You know, I get it.
Right. It's there's a wide spectrum of different types of people, different types of upbringing, and we're always fed these things on, like, you know, YouTube now and TV. But that's not. There's more stories. You know, there's our stories, there's their stories, there's their stories, and we have to kind of. It takes a little effort to just look for your story, look for something that resonates with you and something that you can grab onto for some inspiration. At the same time, you know, we tell our stories, you know, we from our upbringing, we just tell our stories, and hopefully somebody can understand and say, I get that. That's pretty cool. I get that. You know, but I know for me, it's like my kids are just given these bubblegum images and video games, and they're just kind of spoon-fed this stuff. But when I was a kid, I remember my teacher would tell me, she said, you write so well, it's so beautiful, but it doesn't feel like it's coming from you, because I thought, I should speak like this, or I should do this, or I should say this. This is how I should project myself. But I wasn't being real. And that always stuck to me, you know, and I always think about that when I put pen to paper. I go, is this me? Is this my voice? And if you're real to yourself and you tell your story, somebody's going to listen. And it's not going to come off cheesy. And, you know, maybe it's that you're not really telling your story, that people are not listening. Tell your story and believe in yourself, and I think that's a good shot to being heard, you know.
So speaking of inspiration, what artists, characters inspired you to get to that?
And don't leave out Bodega Ninja. All right.
The Bodega Ninja thing.
Well, let's answer Elias' question first, and then you can get into that.
Yeah, from an artist, we'll go first story, right? The story of FuStamps is pretty much me projecting what I went through as a kid, which we used to dress up. We used to go to the Korean shops and put on the fake ninja outfits and run through the abandoned buildings and flip on mattresses and stuff. So we pretended to be ninjas. So those are me and my friends, you know. but I needed something that can trigger them this call to action, which was the killing kaijus walking into the bodega one day. You know, just like so it's a bunch of gangs that the bodega is like the key to controlling the whole neighborhood. And it's only these kids that can kind of stop them, but they don't have anything to really fight them with. But the story comes from a Daily News article on someone who tried to rob a bodega store, and this I believe his ethnicity doesn't have anything to do with it, but I think it's a Dominican guy. He pulled out a machete and chopped this guy's fingers off, leaving the finger on the counter and the gun or knife, whatever it was. And the guy ran, and he got caught. But the news articles said something like, "Don't mess with the bodega ninja." And I was like, "Oh man, I love ninjas. I love the martial arts stuff."
We love bodegas.
Yeah, I'm bodega man. You know,
ham and cheese all day, every day.
That's right. That's our sanctuary. You know. And I said, that's a great idea. So I started drawing Bodega Ninja. He looks a lot different then. He was like a superhero. Not superhero, he was more like, it was that thing I'm talking about where I wasn't speaking my voice. I was trying, I was like, that would work because I saw it in...
American Ninja.
Yeah, or like Naruto or something. So I said, I'm not talking. So I left that in the sketchbook for a while. I love the idea of having a Bodega Ninja, but I didn't do anything with it. Went Toys R Us fell under, and I was looking through my sketchbook. What could I grab onto that's that's urban, that's cool, that I feel like it's me? Was Bodega Ninja, and I just kind of like I made him a little more hood, a little more real. And then I released my first resin figure, which I have now.
Oh wait, while you're talking, bring them out.
Do a talking show.
No, definitely. Oh snap! There you go.
So this was
beautiful.
This is the beginning of it all. He has like his green parka, his beef and broccolis, which is definitely East Coast New York thing, and his sword comes out of his pocket. So I wanted him to look like. You don't know if he's about to hold you up, stick you up, and you're surprised that, it's a sword rather than some pistol or something. So I thought that would, I thought he reflected my voice well, and now he's sold out. He's dead in the story, but he is the leader, and he's the snowball that made all of this possible.
Now, what I find, at least in the art, the cool thing of what it reminds me of, it's like if Street Fighters meet. I used to collect the little homies. You know, the little 50 Cent homies, those guys. But where the homies were kind of like a satire against, the community. You had like the really ghetto girls, the Spanish guys with their sunglasses. The clown. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know.
Clown.
You really don't know where they're coming from. Are they pushing the stereotype or they whatnot?
Who created it?
Exactly.
Yeah, like I said, that's something I know. But like for yours, you have a reason behind them. You know what I mean?
It's a positive one.
It is. With the homies, it was like, yo, look at my little gangster here. You know what I mean? Him and his pit bull.
So that was intentional. That's definitely intentional. What I wanted to do was I seen everything that when different cultures grabs a hold of like an African American hero, a Latino or something, they always kind of turn it into a satire.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I want to empower my people. And I feel like the only way you're going to do that is project what you want people to see, whether it's a visual on Bodega Blade, it's a comic book, animation, whatever it is, to project what you want people to see, which is strength, hero, nobleness, I don't even know if that's a word, nobleness.
If you say it, it's a word.
I've created it. Trademark.
Is it like Rocket Raccoon said? Are all words made up?
I'll Google it, and if we have it, I'll put the definition.
All right.
I'll put the definition in there.
We made a new word.
So you took the possible negative of how people, or satire people, take the street life, and you put a positive spin.
Right.
So
because
you put hope in the hopeless.
That's absolutely. We're being spitfire these images in TV of seeing ourselves on mugshots, seeing ourselves jumping over a fence. Jumping into an apartment that's not ours, stealing a car that's not ours, selling drugs. That's all you really see, and it's freaking annoying.
Yeah.
Because they're not talking about my mother, my family, people that really bust their ass. You guys serving, it doesn't tell that story. It's always like the easy route, the low fruit. It's this. We're
it's
heroes.
almost like what's expected of us. You know what I mean? Which is like they're like, oh, this is the community they play into, and this is the stereotype. So this is all we're gonna show.
Yeah.
Because if you have a Spanish or Latino either being the head of a corporation or something, or for a long time a president, same thing with females having them in a position of power. It's like that's not their role. They don't do this. So it's cool that at least when we got the Black Panther movie, it's pretty much flipped it on the side.
Yeah.
And I said the movie was so great, not because of the Black Panther movie itself, but the message it was going across. The same reason why we wrote
Even
Spider-Man.
the first Wonder Woman too.
Yeah.
The first one.
The first one.
First
We're gonna just pretend like Snyder Cut erased everything out there, but like I said, the first one is that empowerment. I'm not a woman, I'm married to one, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right. Yeah, of course. I mean, she's the boss. If I can do anything, I gotta have the boss. But it's one of those things where they never want to put them in a position, and let it be us. That doesn't seem like the norm. So back in the movies, we were just gangbangers, hustlers, and if we were in the cop movies, we would be the one getting arrested and not the cops.
Shot by RoboCop.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's why, like, the show, the cops, the comic and the game, Fighting Crime in the Future Time. Bulletproof. He was the main guy,
Fighting Crime.
Star Trek, was it Next Generation? But not the Next Generation, the Voyager, right?
Yeah, so, like, it's one of those things where you're saying, like, they're not doing it. And now they are slowly. So it's kind of up to us to do it ourselves.
DuckTales has Latino characters now?
No, I haven't watched it.
It's crazy, yeah.
So like now it's nice to see. But again, we're seeing it through, it's still the same owners. You know what I mean? Those people who own Warner Brothers are the same people who weren't putting us in the first time. So now they're putting it in, let it because they're waking up to it or just because it's what's expected of you.
Yeah.
But when it comes to you, this is you speaking from the heart. This is you. You didn't have a company or white men running it. You know what I mean? So it's awesome to give that voice, almost that mirror reflection of kids saying, hey, listen, this is me. What I'm reading here, I mean, I want to dive into one of your characters is a young female who's pregnant. You know what I mean? And we all, me, Tiff, you guys, that was a big thing, especially like when you're in those urban environments. A lot of your friends have kids early. No fault of theirs. It's just one of those things that happens, and instead of shaming it like a lot of people do, or a lot of people hide it. Like I knew one girl who disappeared from school completely. They took her out just because she got pregnant when she was young. Because the family was
they'll kick you out of school sometimes.
You know what I mean?
Force you out.
So and yet you have this character in your book, and you not only are you like showing that, hey, listen, it's a way of life, but your life continues. It's just a chapter in your book.
Right.
It's not the ending, and I think that's awesome.
Yep.
And again, I haven't read it yet. This is me creeping on his page and looking into his character design, but
stalking.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean. We got to be well informed.
Definitely.
So I feel like that's a message that a lot of girls would see, and they can find themselves with young girls. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the chance that I have here, I feel like a clock is ticking. It's happened when I hit 40 years old. It's like, oh my God, I got to do so much. There's so much I haven't done. But I do want a girl to pick up the comic, and maybe she's just found out she's pregnant and is like, what the heck do I do? But I wanted to put that stereotype of the girl that people have been getting pregnant for teenagers for a long time. If they got a support system, they'd be okay. But I want people to see, like, I put it on its head, expose it and go, you don't have to be a statistic or fall in the cracks. Go back to school, do your thing, be a hero. So this girl is pregnant, Jen. She's pregnant and she's terrified. And Ricardo's her boyfriend. I thought I was going to spill the beans on something. Ricardo's in the gangs, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. And what happens is that the baby winds up, everything has a part of my life. So when I first had a child, I was wondering, the whole nature versus nurture thing. Like, is my kid gonna be an ass because his ass is everywhere, or am I gonna train, teach them? So the baby's actually a monster. So it's like, your little monster, right? You can mold him to not be a monster, or is that his nature? His nature is just to be a monster. So that's why the baby's a monster. But there is stuff in the story that will explain it further.
And it's an interesting thing that you make it a monster. A lot of these kids probably see it that because this child is destroying my life. Because my parents are mad, the society's mad that I'm having it. So I'm pretty sure that's where you got from. Yeah. I don't want to take words and put it in your mouth, but at least when you said that, that's what popped in my head. Yeah. It's a monster because this living thing, when I give birth to him or her, it's gonna change the outlook what everyone sees me. Right. Because unfortunately, monsters they come to destroy you, right? Yeah. So when I give birth to this baby, it is going to be a monster, especially if you're not married. Now it's technically quote unquote a bastard child. Yeah. So I think that's awesome. How are you? Again, you bring it to the front light, and you're saying like, hey, look, you gave birth to a monster, and yet that's what society sees. Right. But in reality, that's her child.
Exactly.
No matter what title they give it. Yeah. It's still her baby. Like I said, that's awesome. Like, the more you talk about it, you definitely gotta.
Yeah, it's the stigma. The stigma that our kids, our youth, is labeled. It's tough to shake out of those things, and then what it does to their self-esteem. We were talking about, seeing these images. And what do you feel about yourself after you see that? Yeah. Like, who's good and who's bad? Like, if we really think about it, we see there's one group that's good, one that's bad, and you're part of the bad. It's like you're part of the problem. What does that do to your self-esteem? Yeah. And same thing with the pregnant girl. All these stigmas that are really bullshit. It's just these things that keep us in line and make us feel worse about ourselves. And I'm glad that's coming across, because that is something I do. Work in a bubble when you're working, you're hoping that you're sharing that message, and if I am, that's great.
I didn't read it yet, you know what I mean? But just that.
Well, imagine when you do read it.
I really was excited when Ryan came by, because I've seen him post it, and unfortunately, I want to say, have you been to New York Comic Con selling your stuff?
Yeah. So I had a New York Comic Con exclusive of the first issue. I had it fold out. And
I was telling Tiff, I was like, sucks, because when I used to see it, unfortunately, like now I make pretty decent money, but you always had that toss up. It's going to the known or the unknown, and you'll see a lot of artists, a lot of figures like this, like, damn, I want it, but I don't know. When this 2019 whatever Deadpool Daredevil figure, I'm like, listen, that's my guy. So by default, good, bad, or indifferent, always go. But now, as an adult, I can tell you, the older I got, the more I got into indie books. The more the stranger, out of rec characters. Even though by default, like we played Street Fighter, I'll be Dan, because you know what I mean. They'll take all the cool characters.
I like Ryu and Guy.
Yeah, but it was one of those blessings though. I just got to get back into the oddball characters, because kind of branching into like the odder characters and the Elseworld books and the unofficial like labels for different things.
See, that's what it is, that whole spoon feeding thing we're talking about, where you go, as an adult, you start to go, I already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Stories, all right, good guy wins, bad guy loses, he's locked up in jail, he found a way to escape, the guy chases him down forever and ever and ever. That's why I wanted to kill off Bodega Blade, the sweetheart, so I try to do everything in a counter way, so that people say, oh, this is something I haven't. It's real life. I mean, your friend, something can happen to your friend or whatever. I don't want to get too dark about it, but I love Street Fighter too. I love Street Fighter, and if you see the FuStamps logo,
it looks like
it's inspired by Street Fighter.
And like my man Shadowboxing. Forgive me if I forgot his name. The newer character he made.
Wapple.
There you go. I say Shadowboxing. He had that shirt. The demon behind him. It's just pretty awesome. Are you rocking it right now?
Am I? Oh shit! I think I am.
Is it right here?
You stripping?
Is that it?
There you go.
Don't show the dark stuff.
So that character I did, and I like this character because he's in the pink, which my man Dan's in the pink. You know what I mean? So like I said, I bring everything back around. But that's the cool thing about.
I want to cut that part.
Don't worry,
we'll take it out.
I'll put the image. I'll put the image.
I felt like Chunk from Goonies. You know when he goes like this?
Listen, everyone knows about that. Don't be embarrassed.
No, with
You know what I
the
mean?
motion, I was like this. I was like, this is Chunk. I fucking saw this
feels
shit. I saw
oddly
this
familiar.
before. Yeah, it's like,
The more I bring it up, the more I gotta keep it, man. But yeah, I'm telling you, like when it comes to your characters, it's cool. You definitely get to see the influences and whatnot. And you're coming from a place of realism, and
from the heart.
Yeah, I'm always thankful. Like I said,
That's
I had somebody to look up to. My brother, of course. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing.
He has very low standards.
You know, yeah, right? We all. Listen, it's as low as my hairline. You know, it's completely gone. I have no standards at all. But you know,
I see a little back here.
You know, that's why we do it. My hair migrated.
Let us all shine as one.
You know, but what I like about you killing your character, or, you know, especially since he's a staple, your characters are from the urban environment, you know, quote unquote the hood, and unfortunately, you know, when you're in that urban life, you know, I was mentoring a youngin', a couple of them, and every now and then you'll hear a family member just got killed, not doing anything wrong, just standing out, a stray bullet or something. So there is no rhyme or reason. You know, unfortunately, in those neighborhoods, the good and the bad. You know, and it could be other than just stepping out of a store at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You know, so having that, even the character dying, don't really know how. You got to buy the book to read it. But even by him going, it shows that as much as it's fantasy, it still has base in reality, because our days are. You know, you take them as they come. Nothing's granted, and especially by him putting him in the spotlight, and he's gone. It brings you back to that real, you know, unfortunately.
Yeah. You know, as we're talking, I'm saying, you know, I'm bringing the reader I'm kind of sharing, I'm bringing them on the roller coaster that I've probably experienced.
Of course.
It's that gut punch, you know, the teenage pregnant girl, the kid who his friend is locked up but he doesn't want to snitch, but then at the same time there's some other thing there that he needs help somehow. So there is that stuff that I'm putting people through a beating, I guess. But also it's fantasy, and there is katanas and a lot of ninja play, and it's kaijus and different characters.
All right, this ain't the book's kids too.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's not like super depressing. They also kick a lot of ass. They train. You know, Wapo is the boxer that you were talking about, and he'll be released later on in the summer. I got a lot of surprises for him.
That's awesome. You should unveil them on the show.
Yeah, we can do it. We'll do it again. Actually,
say
we're talking like issue 2. I just got the last few pages. I'm working in the word bubbles, making sure my spelling is correct because it's terrible, man.
just send it to Tiff. All my legal papers, I send it. She's my proofread. Before I hit send, I forward. I'll be like, anything wrong?
That might happen. You're gonna be like, Rios.
She is good, man. She's been doing it since college, you know, way back then. Spell check's a thing, but it doesn't spell grammar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just kind of checking, making sure the story's flowing and everything. And I've got 2 artists that are on the cover. There's 2 alternate covers. I might do another blank cover for issue 2, so that if people want a little customization.
That's awesome.
So we can unveil that.
Yeah. So we'll be honored.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then we'll be educated because we're going to read the stuff. You know, so I was hoping that you had it because I didn't want to be like, yo, bring some books so I can buy it off you. But you brought it now, so I had to say I was like, let me not, because I don't want to push things away. I don't know how people take it. You know what I mean? Like, you seem like a down-to-earth guy, especially from reading your interviews and buying things. But now, since we broke the ice before here, at least I'm comfortable knowing, like, all right, I can actually, can you bring this? Because I want to buy it. Now, talking about that, how do you get a hand on this? Like, how do I go out to buy your stuff? I know how, but I want you to tell them.
Well, you go to FuStamps.com. That's FUSTAMPS, and you can find all the stuff there. There's some stuff that's sold out, but the comic books I do have some left. The cons have been a thing, so I usually sell a lot in cons. You know, I can do my spiel and sell, but now it's all digital, so you can pick it up there. Issue 2 will be available in about 2 weeks, so stay tuned for that. I do have We're doing Jen now. I just approved the sculpt for Jen. There's another one, Bastard Wraith, which is first vinyl. He'll light up and have some really cool effects. So that he's from the future. We're gonna zoom into the future. So it's issue 1, 2, and then we'll zoom into like issue 70, and then we'll come back. So you'll get to see. I wanted to do the number literally, like it's as if you stepped out of time and picked up a FuStamps book. So like you'll
time
see.
Still progresses, even though you're not reading it. It's still. I always like that.
Just a little peep
you know what I mean?
into the future. Yeah,
that's awesome.
And then we'll come back, and working on a lot of stuff.
Now, which one of your characters, like your character? Like I know you made them all up. But
I like Demonio.
Yeah?
Demonio, and it might be because Demonio is probably the least. Demonio is a character who is raised in an abandoned building, but not because he wants to be. He was actually murdered in the building and stuffed inside the wall. So what he is, he's kind of like a ghost. He's like kind of like the Ring or something like that.
Oh shit.
So I actually have a figure of him too.
You called on
this guy, Demonio. Yeah, Demonio. So this was the box. This is it's probably a little dusty now.
To be fair, going through your line, this is probably one of my favorite that you came out. You know, besides when you do it quicks, but as for you, 100% you, this is the guy who I saw. That is badass.
So this was the second one. So each box has a number. So Bodega Blade was first. So Demonio was second. And then you have some artwork here with Demonio. You have a little bio. So I wanted it to be really mysterious and striking, you know. So he has scars everywhere from his death, and you see some of the scars
on the box.
Here on the box.
That is awesome.
So thanks.
No, I know, but why didn't you like?
Yeah. So this guy comes this way, similar to the Quicks piece. This box is bigger. You smell that paint? Yeah. That thing hasn't been released, so don't hit me up because this is my this is mine, right? I found it recently and I was like, oh, I gotta show this off. So this is Demonio. So he's this kid that was actually murdered, and he goes around trying to find the person that killed him. Then he bumps into the Fu crew. His head is wobbly. So he comes with this mask. So you can.
Oh, it's interchangeable head.
He has an interchangeable head. Matches his
This
bread.
is why I made it.
That is
this
really
figure.
cool.
And his ninja sword.
And is this the second one that the version of him? Because I know you have another one.
This is the original. This is the original. I can't even find it. You can't find it online or anything. Yeah, he's pretty. He was sold out for about 2 years now.
Wow.
I can't find him anywhere. But I bumped into him. I said, "Oh my God! I finally have to." Because mine was broken up, you know. So it was like a artist proof. Yeah, so this guy's my favorite. The reason why he's my favorite, he has the ability to jump in and out of shadows, and he can kind of you can ingest him, and and he'll like
Body your body.
he'll like rip you open, rip you apart. So he's classified as a demon only because he did die and come back, but he's not a bad person. So we get to see in issue 2, we get to see a little bit of his origin, and we get to see the person who did this to him. So he's on his own search for the person that murdered him, but at the same time they meet with the Fu crew, and he becomes kind of like the guy that, like the Wolverine, that's a loner but comes in when they need help and stuff like that.
And like I said, this is the Tiff can tell you. I was like, damn, I want it. The one she really liked was the little, you have, I guess, her pet.
Oh yeah, Renzo?
Yeah, Renzo, yeah. It's actually, she really knows the name.
Which is
You know,
Jen's
son, yeah. So like, and we saw Godzilla vs King Kong, and she saw that one on your site even before it sold out.
I thought it was pretty good too.
The movie? Yeah, we like, we're not here for that. We're here for you.
Yeah,
All right. And you were talking about the system of the two good guys fighting, and then the big one comes.
Yeah.
We all know how it's supposed to be. I mean, like, and to be fair,
Still fun, though.
Godzilla has a gat, so I mean, like, what are you gonna expect?
Yeah, right.
Pound got fists, but you know, it is what it is.
Absolutely.
Anyway, but yeah, no, like I said, this is probably my favorite character you made so far. And the toy line, when I read the books, that might change.
Yeah.
But for the visually, like, appealing, you know.
You're
he's,
gonna love Screwface.
You know.
Like,
And he hasn't come out yet, right?
no, Screwface has come out. It's just the stuff that he goes through is just phenomenal. He's like the one I've had him. I think everyone's kind of had that friend that you're like, don't do that, just don't, and they just keep fought. They keep. It's like that old movie with Robert Downey, the Zero. Was it something Zero? Lower Than Zero?
Oh, it's a classic, right? Yeah.
Yeah, where he's that friend that just fucks up all the time.
Yeah.
So that's him.
Not a bad guy, just always in bad
Bad
situations.
choices.
Man, yeah.
Poor choices.
I've had friends that, you know, yeah, there's one in particular. I used to go clubbing with him, have fun, and he would just don't do it. You know, he was hooked on heroin. He was like, don't do it. And he gets into a point where he can't come out now, and then now he gets hurt. You know, it's a shame. But anyway, he's the one of that. He's like, you love him because he's so loyal, so he's so funky. You know.
But they caught it because they got to test every
Can't
back for
read
now.
So these lines are
One batch
awesome.
test,
Like I
every
said,
back, the whole
it's-
back goes out.
when I retire, this is something I aspire to be. Like, with, you know what you're doing.
How about before?
You know, yeah, no, but I'm just saying. Like, I got 16 more, you know.
Yeah, what do you mean?
I still got like, no, I got 16 more years, you know, with my job. That I gotta do my time. But this is something, and that's why we do this video. And Elias is definitely, he never fell off doing it. You know, he's been constantly doing it. 9 years my senior. Yeah. So he's always there hustling. You know, I mean, like, you know,
I learned it by
I'm
watching
working.
you.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean? And it's awesome to see, like your progression, your character design.
Yeah, it's inspiring. It really is.
Unfortunately, my wife has to live in
I'll be
a
here,
house full of
I'll be in
Funko
the
Pops,
shadows here.
figures, statues, and eventually one of your guys is going to make my way to my house and
Well, you know,
whatnot.
Funko is the gateway drug.
Yes,
Yeah.
I tell everyone, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Join.
Because then, well,
Yeah.
but then again, do it because it's your entry kind of to design.
I mean, like,
toys.
Tiff, she already said where I can put them, so I might put them down there. She's going to be like, damn, when I open my mouth. Because I have, like, over, like, 1,000 and some change.
I have a few too. That's selective. I like that. I got like the Step Brothers, you know, because it's a
That's
hilarious
awesome.
movie. I got the Step Brothers and the horror stuff. I just had to, but I keep it there because it's such a rabbit hole that.
It is, and again, when it comes to things, just collecting, I don't know, you definitely. When we were young, all this was like taboo, so you didn't get it much. You know what I mean? If you say it, you'll get into fights. Oh, you're a nerd. You're this, you're that. It wasn't sports, girls, wrestling, or anything like that. Anything manly, I guess you would say. Like the comic books. Oh, you're a nerd. You're a punk. You know what I mean?
You know, it's funny. I never.
You never had that?
I never. No. Well, I had it. The people would, you know, they'd try to snap on you or something.
Yeah.
But I never was. I never cared. You know.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
I was like.
I we're dressed like this
Yeah.
every day of my life.
No, one time I remember I tell my wife the story all the time. You know, I tell her.
Let me know when you're gonna go.
I had this one friend that was a good comic book artist, and he wrote his own things. He had pages, but he kept it quiet. And he was like, "Let's do something
Closet
together."
collectors,
I
that's
said,
what I
"Yeah,
call
let's go. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go." And then one time he was with hate saying gang, but he was with his homies, and
That's
he goes, he's like, he's just chilling there, and I'm like, "Yo, what? I thought we were gonna do some sketching and stuff." And he's like, "Don't say that. I'm with the hood. I'm with these people." And I was like, "What the fuck out of here?" And I just was like, "Why? Nah, man. You know." And that's that thing that we're talking about, that peer pressure, that thing, and like you got to keep this exterior, which is fine. I get that part, but
And the sad
you know,
part, that's in like even my job.
yeah.
Like, you know, they all know me as the comic book guy. I wear my
So
shirts.
here,
I
they
take
call
it
me
off.
Batman at the
And then
firehouse.
yet, like, when something comes out, I get random, like, cops, bosses, one of the big rims. You seen that new Batman
Yeah.
movie that came out?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then I'm like, man, you can like, yeah, well, you know. It's like, why hide it? You know what I mean? We're grown ass men. Like, who cares? Like, if you, men, women, if you like something, you know, talk about it. Like, I don't get that mentality. I'm like, I got into
Fear.
fights because of that
Yeah, we
mentality and
got beat
whatnot.
up. I used to always
But,
got beat up dressing with
You know, but
Batman
again,
shirts
like,
and Scooby-Doo.
we don't know their past. Maybe they'll you know, kicked out and chastised because of what they like. Well, again, like, I'm always thankful I had brothers, Eli and stuff, to show me, like, it's, you can be you, you know.
Funny
so
story.
I took that and ran. You know,
Even growing up, my parents really didn't dig this stuff. Love you guys, but it's the truth. So out of adversity between society at the time, home life at the time, I figured if it's not gonna be this stuff, then it's gonna be alcohol, drugs, or sex. So I figured, you know what? This stuff, other than taking up space, it's not gonna hurt anybody.
Right.
Then I had a teacher in college that said, invest in yourself. Right? Boy, do we invest in ourselves. But you know what I mean? But like what you love, surround yourself by it, ingest it, love it,
Right.
you know, show it off. And that goes back to what we talked about earlier, like you said. So many people's like sparks are snuffed out because other people don't know who they are, what they are. Most people don't even know who the heck they are.
Right.
Who am I to tell him who he is,
I
or you who you are? You know, like it goes back to what we said earlier. If you love it, hold on to it.
Right.
Because I'll be honest with you, you know, like this stuff never left me yet. I had people die on me. I had girlfriends, you know, this and that. Other than my boy here, my brother. Thank God I have a close family. But this stuff never leaves.
Because it's you know.
Exactly.
And then it's like, but then you get into like so many years, kids, men, have been feeling like I gotta suppress that.
Yeah.
But no, we've always liked, and women
Yeah.
too. Women
Yeah,
always
yeah.
like the princesses and the thing and the, you know. But guy, you know, I'm a guy, so I gotta just talk from my point of view first. I've always loved cartoons and comic books
me
and
too.
toys and, you know, hey man, it is what it is.
And look,
Yeah, you
from
gotta
your
expose it.
passion, look what's like, you know, your work, man. It shows.
Imagine if you gave up
Shows.
on it. Even like with teaching. If I would, and I tell my students all the time, I teach from like 3rd grade to like college. Imagine if I gave up on what I loved. Hey, these guys would be a little different because I was the oldest, so it had something for them to hold on to.
Right.
But that's the most important.
Different
but like,
or not here.
No,
You know what I mean?
yeah, secondary.
What life
Like
you choose.
I told the kids, I'm like, how would I be? They're like, you'd be angry. I'm like, cause why? Cause it's not you. And then I'm like, what else? You wouldn't be here talking to us. Why?
That's right.
Because you would have gave up on
This
us.
is your parking lot.
You know, people don't realize it's more than just stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could give some stuff and sell. I'd give away comics and all that. I could have too much. But in the end, this is where our heart lies. And you made something out of it. We're using it to help other people. This store itself brings a lot of good people into this store. You know, people that it's that closeness, that family.
Right.
What we love brings us together. It doesn't have to be just comic books and art, by the way. It could be anything.
Your passion.
Your
whatever,
passion, yeah.
Dance,
Right.
music,
Yeah.
cooking, whatever.
Anything. And anything that you love and you makes you want to like breathe another day, makes you want to fight another day, brings likely people together. That's what you do. From now on, that's what you do.
Yep.
That's how you live, right?
Yeah, you're right though. You gotta feed the soul.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to.
Because people want to snuff it out.
No, but every day you got work, you got bills, you
Yeah.
got kids,
Yeah.
you got all these things.
Life.
Well,
You know
kids,
what I
I
mean?
love you kids, but I mean, you've got all the crap out there. You got all the politics, the social things. If it's just too much,
Yeah.
you need a little escape.
And
you know.
focus on the positive. All the other stuff that does not involve you, that's all the negative. All that. If I can't make a change in it, you know. But then even with this, it goes back to this comic book. So I'm preachy today.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, you want to inspire a young girl who's pregnant right now, who's suffering, who doesn't know which way's up because of what's going to happen. And this book might put a little seed in her head to be like, you know what, it'll be okay. You know what, you're not. This isn't the end.
That's right.
You know, and that's what it is. Passion breeds passion, but at the same time, it helps other people see it in themselves.
Right.
How am I going to change the world? Like, what influence do we want to make to change
Right.
the world? You know. Speaking of which, that's the question I'm asking.
Yeah.
So, with all this, what you've been doing, right? What it got you here? If you could change the world right now, from your perspective, you had all the power. You know, you had the power right now
You
to
have
change
the
the world.
power. It's a snap away.
What is it you would want to put out there?
Put out there like product wise.
No, like
or just
like to change the world.
Like
to
what
help.
message?
change
What
the-
message?
What
Yeah.
message?
That you just implant in all the
Oh,
hard-headed
man.
people. I didn't
That's
know
like
about this,
asking
so
what the
I
meaning of life
apologize.
is. It's all
There you
good.
go.
I apologize.
No, tolerance.
Mm.
If I can do that, I'd say respect and tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
If violence is not an issue, it wasn't even on the table,
No.
or fighting or anything like that, we just cooperate with each other by respecting each other,
Yeah.
respecting our backgrounds, our religion. I think everything
Amen.
would fall in place. It's very it's not even aspirational. It's like it's a dream, but that's what we're here. We're dreamers.
But
Yeah.
it's one of those things that we keep fighting, even though it's something that we will never see one in our lifetimes. So you got to keep. You said you get that one.
Yeah.
You put that mission in one person's head, he spreads it, and eventually we all can get to a better place.
Yeah.
You know.
There's so many things you wonder, why am I doing this? It's like, you know, I hate to get into politics real quick, but like masking is a debate.
Yeah.
The vaccine's a debate. Why does it have to be a debate? Either you want to or you don't want
Yeah.
to. You know, it's like, I don't know. Everyone goes into these tribal tribal modes.
mentality.
Factions.
Yeah.
Like, what faction you are? You doing this?
They
No,
think
I
like
don't
me,
do that.
so let me, you know.
Yeah.
And that's a product of non-self-awareness too.
Yeah.
I know who I am, so I'm comfortable with what he is, what she is, what you are, because I know who I am. You know, and that's the issue with the world. Nobody not that nobody, but a lot of people aren't self-aware enough to be like, let me be me, you be you. And let me love you for you being you.
Right.
That's it.
You know, I gotta say, I love that mask. Right? The reason why I love that mask, I'm gonna tell you, he's been staring at me for like, what was it, like a half hour, 45 minutes, with this face, right? This gorilla face. And it almost, after a while, like,
It looks like
it's like you,
well,
it's you.
I've been known to be gorilla, so
Yeah,
you know.
So I'm seeing you with your teeth like, I'm like, all right, I'm not trying to laugh. But,
See, even
Well,
it's
it's
beginning
funny.
to blur. It's,
It's
you know,
funny because I wore this mask. I have another mask. It's a Chewbacca mouth. And it has a little mouth there.
Yeah.
But I don't like it because I feel like it blocks my like output. You
See,
can't hear me too well.
even
So
with
you'd have been
this,
two monsters talking.
with the rules,
Yeah.
I want it to be fun.
Of
Yeah.
course.
I found this. I bought like a bunch of them. Right. I call myself the Tiller Gorilla because I'm a Tillerman in the fire.
Yeah.
I'm right at the back, and I've always been called Gorilla. That's a whole other thing that turned from bullying into something awesome. Right. King Kong, by the way, for life. But you know what I mean. But it's like even with this and everything I wear and everything I stand for, you could ask them. You knew me the longest. You know what I mean. I want to put myself in everything. I want to customize everything to show other people it's okay to be you. I got no look at Batman hat right here.
Right.
I have no problem. You know, I could dress like an adult for funerals and weddings. You mean, I right? I came to his wedding, right? You know, I didn't have nothing cartoon or superhero on other than the Ninja Turtle things that they did.
Yeah,
Ninja
we
Turtle
had
fans.
so I got different handkerchiefs. All
I
the
got the
colors,
blue. Leo.
well, purple, red,
Leo.
blue. And I was like, our homage, even though, you know, because she has to live a life of comic and cartoon. So I was like, let's
One-
give
give her
her
a
another
breather
one.
for one
Yeah,
day.
one day.
Right.
But that was our own little thing. We all had different color handkerchiefs that all matched the turtles.
But make like your
that's
teacher
awesome.
told you, make everything yours.
Yeah,
Best way you can. You know.
that's right.
That's
You only
it.
got one chance at
That's
now. Like right now, there's one chance. There's just one chance for now. So make the best out of it.
Amen.
Be yourself.
Amen.
Do what you got to do.
Don't know how to be anybody else but myself.
Yeah, that's right.
You know.
Because only you can teach your message or share your story, and somebody might be going through that same exact thing who's lost.
Yeah.
And you're even if you're not talking to them directly, if they hear it in passing, you might be that light switch. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I say, speak from the heart, speak from the truth. Like you said, life
Yeah.
experience. Your teacher told you.
Right.
You have a message, but you keep watering it down to make it conform to
Yes.
everything around you.
Yeah.
You know, and look now look what you're doing. It's awesome.
The fruit.
You know
the
what I mean?
seeds.
The season. This is where you're starting. When God knows, when people wake up and realize there's more than Marvel and DC,
Yeah.
and then they start going out there and looking at other things.
They're
Like,
creating their own content.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like I would love. Don't get me wrong. Like he's an animator. I'm more like illustrations. Like my thing. I love covers and like Norman
He's
Rockwell's my
good.
favorite thing.
Amazing.
You know, so like Roy Elias can bang it out. Like he's that guy. You need something done in the timeline. Here it is. I got you. It's out there.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? For me, I like to sit down and take my time and, you know, really like with all the detail you have in your guys, you know, let it be the bandaging, the book bags, the straps, you know what I mean? Like you said, you know, the broccoli and the beef, right? The beef and broccoli over there.
Now I gotta go eat
You know
that
what I
tonight.
mean? It's one of those things that,
Yeah.
you know, if you're not you and you're the average person, you'll just bypass it.
Yeah.
You know, but everything in all these characters have history, has a story behind it. Even the way he's opening, like you said, he's robbing me, is something else. It's all thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love that it
Thank you.
works. You know, from everything from the scars on the boxes. You know, you can just look at it. Oh, it's just there to fill void. Most people are like, oh, that's cool. But you're showing us the scars interior inside the box. Like I love that in your work.
Thank you.
You know, because
And-
it's something I would strive to do in mine. You know.
like I said, your messages are important. Like when I was researching you, I felt it.
Oh,
As crazy as that sounds, I felt it. Like here
That
is
means a
somebody
lot, thank you.
who cares.
Yeah.
You know, here's somebody who does their art because they care, not to make money, and may the Lord bless you with all the money in the world.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But you're doing it because you want to make change.
right.
That is so rare
Yeah.
and so important in this world.
Right.
Got a quick story. I had a 12-year-old, I call her little sister, my student, and I'm cleaning up the tables, and she turns to me, she goes, "Mr. Eli, I got a question." I'm like, "What's up?" She's like, "Why is it so hard, and why is it so lonely to be yourself?"
Mm.
And I looked at her, and I think my eyes glazed over. I said, "You know what, sweetheart? There are adults,
Mhm.
people my age and older, that do not understand what that even means or doesn't even
Yeah.
think about that." So I said, "Simple. We live in a world where, as you know, The Walking Dead, right? She knows zombie stuff." She goes, "Yeah, I don't watch it, but yeah." So there's a few survivors here, right? Survivors meaning we're self-aware. Survivors meaning we want to make change. Survivors meaning we want to help one another survive, right?
Right.
And then there's the zombies out there.
Mm.
And the zombies are the naysayers, and what they want to do, they want to bite you.
Mm.
They want to bite you. They want to infect you. They want to make you
Right.
sick. They want to make you believe
Turn you
you're a
into them.
statistic.
Mm.
You're pregnant, you're a statistic. You're in the ghetto, you're a statistic. Give up, you're dead. You're done.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I told her, as long as you keep moving forward, more survivors will come. More friends, people, like-minded people will
Right.
bring you together. And then, sweetheart, you can make the change.
That's right.
You know, but it's going to start with you going on your journey.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I appreciate this, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate that you're getting this message out there for the youth. And I do best in our power to promote all this stuff
Thank
too.
you so much. Man.
You know?
And I don't know if you guys say where you are. Like we're in Newark. You know.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Newark,
so
all the time.
Newark.
53 University Avenue.
Yeah.
Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah, we're in Newark, so we're not
Yeah.
like in some
No.
posh hill talking
No.
down. We're like in the mix.
We're in the
Yeah.
trenches, you
Like
know?
I
That's
said, and it's funny because I always say, when you grow up in an urban environment, let it be the Bronx, let it be Jersey City, and I don't mean what downtown is now. No offense.
Downtown was
You
crazy
move-
when we were kids.
Downtown, you got to
Yeah.
take a bus, you're gonna
Shoot.
fight, you're getting robbed. it's
Yeah,
what
I
it
used
is.
to carry pocket change just when I got robbed. I put the money in my sock.
Yeah.
So when the guys would come with the knife, they're like, here. And they're like, oh, wait, I got another dime. They're like,
Yeah.
then I'll just have a good one.
Yeah.
And I got
So,
like $20
you
in
know
my
what I
sock.
mean?
Oh yeah.
But we lived that, and we,
Yeah.
but we didn't become victims or a statistic from that environment.
Right.
You know, and again, just because you're in that environment now doesn't mean you cannot get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's programs, there's
things.
people who I talk to and whatnot who are in that lifestyle and they get out. Yeah, I've got people I arrested. They're like, yo, if you ever need a character witness, you know, I'm your guy, and I put them in jail. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I never say I did, but the situation that they occurred
Mm.
because I treat them like individuals. Just because you're in a dark place doesn't mean you can't get
There's
out.
always light.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even if, God forbid, you're in jail, there's people in jail who are preaching and, you know, trying to better themselves, even though they may never get out. You know, but they even within that cage, they found freedom.
Right.
Amen.
You know, so it's always doesn't matter where you are, what situation you're in. You can always let it. And again, but you have to start. You have to look at yourself and be like, what am I doing?
Do the hard work.
Yeah, like the 12-year-old said, it's hard. It is hard.
hard.
100%
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
And it's nothing's written out for you. You know, it's like, and sometimes you don't carve your own path, but you jump on the path
Yeah.
that leads to the place you want to go. You know, you don't go to somewhere where you know it's going to wind up
Yeah.
turning to
Right.
crap, and then walk through that path. Just get on one path and just stay on there,
Yep.
and it'll
Amen.
lead you to success. It reminds me of my son. You know, he asked, like, I don't know where to start. What it is? I said, one step, just one step in front of the other.
This goes back to the Batman and Flash, man. Just
That's
do
it.
that
Just
one thing.
step. You do
Huh?
one step. Take a look back, and you're miles away from where you were. You know, and you're headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Some people get the spoils quickly. Some people get the beat down, but you will get the spoils if you stay on that right path.
And I say one thing too, when we know we're on our purpose is when what we do influences others.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That's when you know you're on the right track. If you're just, not us, but if someone's sitting there just making money, no one's getting influenced other than, like you said, the candy cut stuff on
Right.
YouTube and all that, which is fine, nothing against people, anything. We use social media too. But when you're impacting other people's lives without even knowing it, that's when you know you have purpose. I follow my life through that.
Right.
Nothing else. If it's not enriching others, children, people like me. You know what I mean? If it's not bringing me to others that think like me for the most part, that want to like survive with me, then it's just I'm going the wrong direction.
Yeah. I'm like personally, you know, it doesn't do anything for me to just say, hey, here's a toy, sell it, and then sell it. To me, it's more the story that I'm trying to tell. You know, that's why I'm taking a little bit of a, not a break, but I'm slowing down the toy so I can get the story out. The story is more anything that so people can grab onto that.
And the cool thing, you're doing it like the Hasbro and before I gotta ask you what lines you worked on. Yeah. But like, think about it, like Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joes, Transformers, they put the toys out. Yeah. And then they built the stories.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's what I wanted to do. So,
and you see it here. You have, and there's so much story in the toy itself that you don't really realize until you either sit down, you talk to you personally, or you listen, or you actually read the book. You know, and it shows. But I'm sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to link that.
No, it's funny you say that because that was the idea was like the old Transformers and stuff was like put the toy out and then create the content and stuff. So I wanted to put Bodega Blade on and be like, people go, what the hell is this? And then say, well, this is snowballing into something. I did it backwards because I'm more of a toy designer. So it was kind of
That's awesome.
It was a dual thing where I said, all right, I can keep it old school, you know, and I'm doing this for me, but I'm also because it's me, when I share it, it should gravitate towards the people that are experiencing those same events. So I wanted, and even the comic book, people say, why isn't the pages in color? So I remember opening the old Ninja Turtles and the Usagi Yojimbo books and the heavy metals and stuff. All this stuff was like just cool to do. It wasn't like
AD books.
We weren't in it to like make money or flip, or there was no chrome covers and 3 alternate covers. It was just that comic book that was your best story.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 300 is my favorite comic book of all time.
Nice.
And it's a little fashionable now. Yeah. But I had that thing in my back pocket, sitting on it, crushing it. And it was my bet because Eddie Brock was in the Bronx. Yeah. He was lifting. I remember this panel. I haven't seen it in years. I don't even have it anymore. But Eddie Brock is pumping iron in the Bronx. Yeah. And his apartment was all looked like mine. And I was like, oh, I love this. And just because the guy said I'm from the Bronx and I'm, and he was a villain, but at least, man, you shot it out the Bronx. I held on to it, I kept that sucker in the back pocket.
And look, even he changed.
He changed.
He's flipping flop.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. And the symbiote is probably that lifestyle that just attaches to how you feel. That
kind of like a drug.
You feel. That's what I'm saying.
You think about it.
It's that. It's just aggression, and it fed on it, and that's what took over. Then later on, it becomes anti-venom and all this other stuff. But and it shows. You know what I mean? Like, he was at his weakest when the symbiote took him over.
Yes.
And that's why he became the way he is. Where Peter Parker was still a good guy. Yeah. And even that brought him to a dark place. And he had to fight it. But to show that Eddie Brock actually was able to flip it completely shows character development of himself. The Bronx strength. You know what I mean?
It is real.
You know what I mean?
It's that negativity that you could either project or you can eliminate it. And the symbiote kind of represents to me that demon and negativity, alcoholism, drug abuse, or prostitute, whatever it is. Yeah. And you could either be strong and live that life without it, or you can suck into it and let it feed off of you.
Fall into that hole.
Yeah, definitely.
It will feed off you.
Definitely. Which demonio has these huge black wings that actually eat things. I can't give too much, but there was a symbiote kind of feel there. So
that's awesome, man. Like I said, your characters they're great in every aspect. They're great to look at. They have great stories, and especially knowing from your history where you come from. So I'm the baby out of the group. You know what I mean? But I tell you, when I may be the youngest, but I lived, and I don't mean that in a good way or bad way. Been to situations that I hope nobody's been through. I've seen some really messed up stuff, and not saying I've seen worse than other ones, but even my short time. So I come from a place of understanding. You know what I mean? And one of my best friends at work, shout out to you guys. He lived a whole life. He's always goes through things. So that's why we bond. You know what I mean? But so there's things that in both our lives, we both went through different things. And is that understanding why we chilled with each other? You know what I mean? let it be this your message through your books. They may not be able to have the pleasure of sitting down with you, but they can feel your life stories within your characters, within your designs, within the story themselves. And at least they got this now. They can, if you don't want to read it like I did, you know what I mean?
Man.
Well, technically, Tiff, you know, she did the research for me.
Absolutely.
But you know, it's awesome to hear you break down of it. You know, me and Elias can talk forever, and I don't want to. You have family.
Yeah, you
My
got
family's
kids.
here,
Yeah.
and we right here, so I don't want to hold you up. But I think it's important to show that behind these kick-ass characters,
That's
great
hard.
art design. There's a story that goes beyond the pages, and it goes into
The
you
human
know,
experience.
yeah, you know, it's a society. Like I said, I'm always blessed. I had Eli, now I have Tiff. So my support group, I know I can go through hellfire and come out unscathed because I have them.
Right.
A lot of people don't. So that be in comics is something that they can maybe not project into, but at least by reading this, it's something like, oh, he gets it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta be a young girl who's pregnant, a kid who's unfortunately always caught up with the law. Maybe not be his fault, just victim of circumstance and where you're from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They may pick this up and be like, I get it. You know?
Right.
So like, and with that, you know, I want to say like thank you for putting your message in and speaking from the heart.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Like Eli's always taught me, listen, this is never be ashamed of who you are. Even young, like we used to beat each other up. Ezra and me try to kill each other.
My
You know what I
brother
mean?
tried to stab me.
We did everything to try to set each other on fire.
Wait, I gotta take that note.
I'm telling you, man, yo.
Yeah,
I see an issue here.
We're like the
There's four of
the
us.
Ramoses.
Yeah.
You know, the four bonobos, right? You know, we legit,
Bonobo.
we try to choke each other out, stab each other, set each other on fire. You know, and like I said,
Throw out the windows.
and nothing against my parents. Like my dad was there to work. You know, he wasn't really
Provide.
a father figure in the aspect of teaching us like this and guys, this is what you gotta do. He was the one like it's I got a house, I gotta get you food, I gotta work.
Yeah.
Where mom was always like the heart.
Right.
You know what I mean? My dad was the body, but my mom was the heart. You know,
Yeah.
he kept everything going, but as far as bringing us closer, it was always Ma. She always backed me up when it came to teachers. You know,
You're the sweetest
she was
lady in the
always
world.
there.
You cross us, and when we were kids,
You know what I
she'd
mean?
make you want to jump down the stairs.
Oh
I
my
saw it.
God.
so then once when Elias found himself, I still remember the day, you know, I was talking up, I think Pastor John downstairs had a teddy bear, you know, and I was able to give that bear up.
Right.
And that was the day I found myself.
Wow.
But like I said, it's one of those things, excuse me, but
Ah, man.
it's one of it's one of those things where I'm always thankful for this
Right.
because it was his outlet. By him finding himself, put me on that path.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being so hospitable,
Oh,
and thank you
family.
for understanding. You know, I mean, I live right down, you know, like 5 minutes away. So it's like I love, you know, some people want to talk art and stuff like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
But I like what you're bringing to the table, and I really appreciate that. And thank you for
thank you
one
for coming,
understanding, but also.
Oh.
You know, just bringing me here to kind of help
Like
talk
I
to
said,
some people.
I felt it, brother. I was reading your thing this
Yeah.
morning, yesterday, and I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I was like, this is gonna be more than just. And we appreciate your art. and
That-
all
that
but
means a lot.
I knew there's more behind
Of
it
course.
than pretty pictures and awesome action figures,
Right.
which is awesome. But that's why I fell in love with everything that's here. There was something
Yeah.
more. You know, I like Batman because he's screwed up in the head.
Yeah.
We all-
But he helped his you know, the ones the sons behind him better.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So I always believe there's a bigger narrative and a bigger heart, and I felt that you did too.
It's the same connection we have
So
with Jose,
thank-
meeting Jose.
No, that means that's
You know what I mean?
that's a gift, man. That's a early Easter gift for me.
Same
And you
here.
gave me a little
Appreciate
basket, and thank you so much. I appreciate the
We're
basket.
basket cases.
I was gonna say, yeah.
You guys,
We're all
I hope
messed
you
up.
guys keep the head thing in
Yeah,
there.
that's another.
That was pretty
For the
funny.
most part, nothing gets edited. We
No,
just
it's
tweak. We
awesome.
just add stuff
Yeah.
in there.
It's gonna
you
be like
know.
a 3-part, but it's all good.
No, I mean
Yeah.
like for YouTube, we'll have everything, and on Instagram, we'll cut.
Your
And if you
Instagram, we
want
gotta
more-
cut it. Yeah.
We
No,
did,
you know, we'll
yeah,
cut
we
more.
did kind of run, right?
Yeah.
We all like talking a lot of.
I mean, like,
Because
but
we
again,
had important stuff to
I-
say. That's what it was.
And it's not. It's us just
Yeah.
being us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of people talk, if you listen, and at least with us, you get the best of both worlds. You know, 'cause again, I'm the baby brother, and I was able to move on from Elias's, you know, his landmines. He told me, don't step here, step
Yeah,
here.
listen.
Don't step
Listen.
here. don't step here. And I did that.
Yeah, man.
You know, so if me and Tiff ever have a kid, you know, we can do the same. You know, when we talk to youth, I teach them the same thing.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, I'm in a crib for my path in life, my career. I don't fall into those landmines either. You know, I'm in a situation where I affect people's lives. You know, for better or for the worse, and I always try to be like, how can I help you? You know what I mean? No matter where you is, let it be what path you take. I still even try to be like, if they're willing to listen, you know, maybe there's something out there. You know, especially I'm lucky to deal with programs, so I know what helps out there. And if you ask me. But you know, when I go home, everything's done. Of course, I have Tiff, but I'm building my little man cave, and there's nice sit down. And you see all this is staring back at you, and it kind of takes you away from it. You know what I mean? It brings you back in. It's like, this is my bubble.
Yeah, I mean, my wife, I walk down, I have the detox with all my stuff, and I've gotten like maybe 6 in a row now.
I just bought 3 right now.
Oh, yeah?
First one, yeah. And that's an IKEA shelf, if you don't know.
Yeah.
For,
I got the little
collectors out
lights.
there.
Yeah, I got the lights on them, and I
They're
walk
in
by
boxes.
them, and I just look and just stare. It's a beauty thing. It's like appreciation, at least for me, for the art. You know, I go, man, that sculpt is beautiful. And then my wife goes, how do you keep staring at this shit? You stare at that hard and you stare at me. It's gonna be cold copy. Wait,
He's like, because they don't judge me when I stare.
Maybe we cut that. Wait. Maybe.
He's like, yeah. I like that.
No, it would be like,
Or just put like one of those voices that goes, welcome to Comic Con. You know, change the voice. Yeah.
it would be the cut credits. You know, we'll put that in there.
Have some subtitles. Like, so.
You can always say, I like this stuff because it got me where I am now.
Yeah. You know what I
It saved
mean?
my life.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of those things. And I know for a fact, if somebody picks up your book, let it be what side of the fence you're on. You'll find something.
Yep.
Not only you'll find awesome character design, awesome art, you know, the story behind it goes way beyond what you see here. And listen, I just want to say, if anything else, thank you again for coming out.
Thank you.
I know it was a little hectic, and of course I wanted Eli here because
Thank you
man,
for
it was a
winning me,
pleasure,
brother.
man. Damn.
You
I
know,
had a busted wing and stuff,
So,
the firehouse and all that.
it was
so
tagged, but like everything
it was
else,
tough.
if it was easy, it wouldn't have been meant anything.
Yeah.
Just by the fact that you kept wanting
Thank
to
you
do
for
it,
coming.
and we kept moving it, it was well worth the wait.
Amen.
Well, thank you for 2 members of the Justice League
Yeah, right.
for bringing me. You got Wonder Woman,
Definitely.
Batman, and
Superman.
I wonder why that woman deals with my bullshit. You know? But listen, it's always a pleasure, and like I always say, for those, you know, make sure be your true self. You know, don't fall into any statistics. Don't let no one dictate your life. It's yours. You only got one. Let it be from collecting to cooking, dance, whatever you're doing. If you're not hurting nobody, do it, man. You know, because we only got this short time here. Nobody knows the truth of what's going on in the end. We hope we do. But, you know, while we're here, make it yours. Listen, Elias, you got anything to say?
I always close off. I always say, encourage yourself and encourage others. And that's all I gotta say.
Lastly,
amen.
let my brother here kick it off. You got any last words for everyone?
Until next time.
Yeah, till next time. Keep it Rios.
That's awesome, man.
That's a little thing.
You can't beat that. There was a saying here that someone told me that I'll tell you off screen about the Ramoses.
All right.
Anyway, guys, listen, like anything else, we're going to have all the links. You know, but pick it up if you can. You know, I'm going to see if Jose can grab a couple things and you start pumping them out. You know, but if not, go on his web page. With that, people, peace.
Take care.
Bye.